take me back to the old dirt road where Mama and Papa used to go. Let's sing all the songs from a long time ago. Time for the mojo. Well, let me run through the breeze like the leaves on the tree. Let me fly like the leaves when they fall. Well, let my mind go serene like a cool water stream that runs from the mountains so tall. Oh, take me back down the old dirt road. Take me home to rest where the mockingbirds nest and to cry through the green in the spring. Let's go back a ways to the old bygone days and the simple time we lived back when. Let the pull of the plow bring the sweat from my brow and the glow of the fire pulled me home. Let me wind down my days in the sweet dusty haze. Take me back down the old dirt road. Thank